Update. I, female 27, my husband, male 29, have been together for 3 years. In those 3 years, I have never known him to be selfish, occasionally immature, yes. But even that was rare. Original post. These problems arose when those stupid cake smashing videos got popular and my husband thought they were hilarious. I've never thought that they were funny, and he knows that. Yet he has always been showing me the videos of those poor wives getting the happiest day of their lives ruined by their asshole partner for some cheap laughs. He also knows I have a history with cake smashing. My family does the cake smashing thing. I remember it was my 17th day, and I pleaded with my mom not to do it. She promised, and I trusted her. I had my hair and makeup done up all nice and right as I blew out my candles. My mom pushed my head into the cake, and one of those decorations on the cake ended up slicing my forehead. Not enough to go to the hospital, but enough for some substantial bleeding. My birthday was ruined, and after that I wouldn't come out of my room. My mom still calls me a brat for that. I told him if he ever did something like that to me, I'd leave him. He started laughing, but I was being for real, though he was really not taking me seriously. Now skip to a few days ago when my wedding happened. Everything was perfect. I was happy, he was happy, and I was excited for our new lives as newlyweds. I felt like a princess in my poofy white dress and done-up hair with perfect makeup. All very expensive things I would like to mention. We get to the cake cutting part, and I turn to him and he scoops up a huge chunk of our wedding cake and smashes it all over my face. Everything just seemed to go in slow motion for a few moments. He's just laughing at me and then says, "You should see your face," and continues to laugh. Other people in the crowd, mostly my family, is also laughing at me. Then I just start walking away. He realizes that I'm leaving and he tries to catch up with me and says, "I'm being extra." I push him away and order an Uber. As I go outside, most of the crowd is following me, telling me to come back. I get into the Uber and drive away. I drove to our apartment and packed most of my things and went to stay at a hotel. I currently, though, am staying at a friend's house. My family and his family have been blowing up my phone for days, saying I'm being childish and my husband is a good man and it was just a joke. My husband has been calling me off the hook, telling me to please come home and that he wants to talk, that he's sorry and didn't think I'd get that emotional. This was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives, and he embarrassed me in front of everyone for some prank that he knew I hated. Not only that, he ruined a $500 cake. He ruined my makeup, my hair, and the top of my dress. The cake got all over, though I still do love him, and I'm wondering if I'm really was too hard on him. That seems to be what everyone else's opinion is. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top of comments before reading the update. He apparently didn't plan this, and it happened fairly quick, so the only person who was recording that I know of was the person I paid to do it. I already messaged him to not give those recordings to anyone. I don't need that type of attention, God forbid it got out. Please, everyone was too busy laughing. Musing on why he would do this. I guess maybe he could change my mind? That is the only reasoning I can think of, because that's the same thing that went through my mind. I don't even know if I will get back together with him. He's acting as if smashing cake in my face was funny, and that I just was being emotional. Now for the updates. Update 1. I decided to speak to him bright and early this morning. I'm leaving him. Some of you might be happy about that, and some of you might not be. I decided to call him and get this reasoning for why he did what he did. He told me he just thought it was a funny prank, and that it was at the wedding on a happy day that he could change my mind. Plus, since it was tradition in my family that I wasn't following, he thought that he could get points with my family. Then he told me he's sorry that I took it as a disrespect. I told him he shouldn't be saying that he's sorry that I took it that way. He should be apologizing for hurting me. Where is the "I'm sorry"? I told him he hasn't apologized with accountability once. All his apologies have been backhanded. I also reminded him that I didn't have a good relationship with most of my family, nor my mother, who he forced me to invite. I told him he knew I was already the black sheep of my family. The verbal abuse and public humiliation I received from my mother for years really messed with me, and he knew that. Then he says this, "Why should I have to apologize because you can't take a joke?" I blew up. I told him, "Are you serious? If it was me who hurt you to this degree, the first thing I'd do is apologize. Well, you can't even force yourself to be decent for a few secs and just apologize to me. I also told him that he was trying to get in good with a family who abused me by publicly humiliating me, and that is something that is unforgivable. Marriage means that you stick by me, yet you showed you obviously do not. It's not about you ruining my dress or my hair or even the cake. It's about how you knew how I felt about this and the trauma that I had connected, and you didn't care. He then tried doubling down and saying it wasn't his fault for not apologizing because my family was telling him how dramatic I was and how I was hurting them by leaving the wedding for a joke. He said he loves me and he doesn't want to break up over this nonsense and that I should just come home. I told him I wasn't coming home and it wasn't even about the cake anymore. It's because I cannot be with a man who won't apologize when he's wrong and who gaslights their significant other into receiving the blame. He started cursing me out at this point. But after about a minute of hearing him scream at me, I hung up. I guess he started telling my family because within a half an hour my phone was blowing up again. The worst ones had to be for my mother and his sister. My mother was telling me I am going to end up alone because I can't take jokes and I'll never be able to keep a man with my attitude, even saying that my clock is running out fast and when it did, no one will want me and I'll be alone. His sister was telling me that I'm a disgusting B-word for hurting his brother and wasting his time, that she wishes that he would have broken up with me 2 years ago when he first wanted to. So now I know he wanted to break up with me. What I also know is he was cheating on me for 6 months with his ex who wanted him back, but then she dropped him because he stayed with me. The thing is, I had a great relationship with his sister, and she knew he was cheating on me. I guess she put everything out on the table since I was leaving anyway. I blocked most of my family, and I blocked all of his family. I also blocked him, and I'm getting the annulment. My friend said that I could stay with her for a few months until I get back on my feet. I told her I really appreciate it. So yeah, that's the end. I'm crying while typing this. I wasted 3 years on a man who never really cared about me. I've lost what little relationship I had with my family, and now I only have a few friends that I've been blessed with. I'm going to have to pick up the rest of my stuff. I also told him before I blocked him if he broke anything of mine, I would bring it to court. Thank you all for the kind words and encouragement. I'm going to go to sleep now since I haven't done so in 24 hours. Update 2. So my last post had gotten taken down and I've gotten a lot of messages. I just wanted to update you all about a few things. I haven't gotten my stuff yet from my ex. I just haven't had the energy to because I'm still extremely upset, obviously. From the videos online to the comments I received on my original post to also the comments I looked at on my repost, it kind of made me think that there were probably a lot of red flags and I was just used to being abused, so the bare minimum was enough for me. After speaking about it with my friend, she said that he definitely had a lot of red flags, and she even told me I should stay far away from dating until I get some help because I was obviously not seeing the red flags right in front of me. I'm not going to get into it, but sometimes I'd have to cook second meals for my ex because he didn't like everything I made. His mom apparently didn't get him used to vegetables so he wouldn't eat them, or making fun of my cramps on my period. That's some of what I was referring to when I said immature. Someone texted me saying that if I was sure that he cheated on me. No, I'm not sure. At the moment, it just felt like it made sense because of how horrible he was being, though they made a good point. The sister very much well could have just been trying to kick me when I was down since I was leaving anyway. I have no evidence and I probably will never have the evidence. I unblocked him just to tell him I was going to come over in a few days to get my stuff, and if he could just not be there, that I'd leave my keys. He said fine, and that was it. So he will not be there when I get the rest of my belongings. I will also bring a friend with me just in case he tries to do something. I'm still not speaking to my family, and I think I'm just going to go no contact like people suggested. I saw a video from a woman speaking about me, and someone in the comments said I was groomed into this treatment, which is why he felt it was okay to do this. Maybe she's right. When I get my financials in order, I think I'm going to try therapy and wait a few years before attempting to date anyone. I also kept getting this question: how did the Uber come so quickly? The wedding venue was in a city in a building. Uber took 30 seconds to order and 3 minutes to get there. Plus, who was really going to try and stop me from getting into the car? My husband gave up, to be honest, pretty fast once he saw me trying to get into that car. I thought it was weird, but I realized now, playing the victim because he didn't get his way. Some of you may be saying, how did you not realize you were being abused? I don't know, sometimes it just happens that way. My brain is kind of dead at this point. Again, thank you to literally everyone for all the sweet comments and even people messaging me privately. I haven't responded to them all, but I will try to since you took time out of your day to see if I was okay. I really appreciate that. To people who say this is fake, I don't care. I went on this app because I figured I'd get like a few comments and maybe some insight. I got that insight, way more than I thought I'd get in a million years, and now I'm going to move forward with my life. So this is the last update. I'm going to respond to the PMs and then forget about this account and hopefully my old life. It's genuinely too depressing for me to think about. Edit. I'm okay though. I feel lonely and depressed, but I have my friends supporting me, so I'm not that alone. I'll be okay and get myself out of this hole. I realize that this post is a bit doomed and gloom. Edit. I'll bring the policeman with me if you guys say that I should. Story 2. Update. I said our son's ridiculous behavior was my wife's fault. Reddit and I accused her of being jealous, but she wasn't. Original post. My 48 male wife, Mary, 50 female, has always coddled our son, Mickey, 28 male. Mickey was born premature and spent time in NICU. Mary was very protective of him. She was a helicopter parent and constantly overextended herself for Mickey's sake. One thing that annoyed me was that she would constantly hug and kiss her son. That wasn't a problem. The problem was she would be sad and moody if he didn't give her one. She also had a payment for a kiss thing with Mickey. I tried telling her that Mickey would grow older and he wouldn't appreciate being coddled by his mom so much, but she was convinced her precious baby boy wouldn't be a mean, nasty man who hated hugs and kisses. I guess she was right. Mickey got married a few years ago to Diane. She's a stand-up woman with a good head on her shoulders. She's straightforward and logical. I was a little worried about Mary because everyone knows how mothers and daughters-in-laws don't get along, but she loved Diane, at least until Mickey came to her with his marital problems in the last couple of years. He told Mary Diane was drifting away from him. They were very close to being separated, though I don't think my son would have ever have divorced her. Long story short, Diane passed out at the wheel and got into a nasty accident. She was later told that she had an autoimmune disease that has fatigue as a side effect. Diane needs a wheelchair most of the time, but she's not paralyzed. Mickey has been taking care of her, and he's been doing a pretty good job. They seem to have a happy, stronger marriage. Today, my wife was a nervous wreck. She told me Mickey and Diane visited. Our town is not wheelchair friendly, so Diane needs a lot of help. Mary told me that Mickey asked Diane to pay him with hugs and kisses, and he was smothering her with affection. I asked Mary if Diane seemed afraid, upset, or annoyed. She said no. I told Mary I didn't see a problem with an inside joke between a married couple. Mary burst out that it was wrong because of how helpless Diane was. I told her that 1, Diane wasn't helpless, and 2, her son's ridiculous behavior was her fault. Mary modeled that hugs and kisses were required to show love, and Mickey was doing what he learned. Hell, he learned the whole paying with a kiss from Mary. She stormed off and has been giving me the silent treatment. Am I the a-hole? Now for some advice before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Overall, it seems like your wife's ridiculousness worked out. I don't think this arrangement of paying with affection would have started when Diane got sick. It probably happened earlier in their relationship. If Diane didn't like it, she would have communicated that at some point in time, hopefully. Your wife is butting into your son's relationship. There could be a number of reasons for that, but ultimately it should stop. Sit her down and tell her that Diane is ill, but she's still sound of mind and can make her own decisions. This is a relationship dynamic that doesn't have to do with her illness, and it should be between Diane and Mickey. While it is 100% your wife's fault that Mickey does this, it's not productive to point it out to her, so you may want to avoid that. Good luck, OP. It probably didn't start when Diane got sick, but I know Mickey did a lot more. I think he feels guilty and worried about Diane's health, so he's showing his love the best way he knows how. I don't know why my wife is so upset. I would have thought that she would be flattered and boast that she was right. Now for the update. A lot of the responses said that my wife Mary was jealous of Diane, our daughter-in-law, or inappropriately close with Mickey, our son. She welcomed Diane with open arms and treated her as the daughter that she never had. We invited Diane and Mickey over for a bite. Well, Mary did. She commented a few times under breath that Mickey was doing too much PDA and sent him to the grocery store. Then she interrogated Diane on if she felt comfortable if anything was bothering her, and told Diane to let her know if anything ever worried her because Mary would pick her up. No judgment. I was baffled. Diane thanked Mary but said she was fine. Mickey came back and we had a nice time, though I noticed Mary kept an eye on them the entire time that we were at home. After they were gone, I turned on Mary and asked her what the hell she was doing. She stammered that she had no idea what I was talking about. I told her she was being really weird and asked her point blank if she was jealous that Mickey was doing their thing with Diane. She broke down and said that she wasn't jealous, she was just downright uncomfortable. Then she told me that she hated the way Mickey used an innocent thing between mother and child for husband and wife. I asked her why it bothered her. She said that it looks bad, a man demanding affection in exchange for helping his physically disabled wife. She emphasized that Diane was more helpless here than she could be. We live in a mountainous town that's not wheelchair friendly. Diane can't drive anymore. She had to rely on Mickey. Mary had to ask Diane to make sure that she was really okay. I asked her if she had so little trust in her own son to be a good person. Mary said her own father seemed like a good person to others, but he was not a good father or husband. Mary's late mother was physically disabled and likely had anxiety and depression because of her disability and her husband's controlling behavior. She wasn't allowed to go out of the house and had no money. Her husband threatened to throw her into the asylum if she tried to leave, with or without the kids. So Mary's mother, my mother-in-law, would reward children with kisses and hugs if they helped her out. They did chores like washing dishes or laundry or helping her make a meal in exchange for extra hugs and kisses, since mother didn't have any allowance to give them. Her mother passed away when she was a teenager. Mary had never mentioned much of her childhood before now. Mary passed that tradition down to Mickey, but it changed a little bit since she liked to spoil Mickey. Seeing it not a parent-to-child context and with Diane being physically disabled was pretty disturbing to Mary, and she was getting panic attacks thinking about it. Mickey does look like his grandfather. He takes after Mary's features, so I think it also made her upset. I sat her down and said that I understood where she was coming from and that we could figure it all out together. I called up Mickey and told him the history behind his grandparents, and Mickey said he got why it triggered his mom and he wouldn't do it in front of Mary anymore. Mary said that she felt hurt. I assumed she was jealous and insecure of Diane instead of worried for her. I deeply hurt her feelings. I apologized, but she's still hurt. Edit. I got messages saying I was unclear on what Mickey was doing that made my wife so upset, so Mary's mother would give Mary a hug and a kiss for doing dishes, for example. Mary would give her mom a hug for making dinner or sewing up her clothes since her mom didn't have much energy. When Mary had Mickey, she would get him ice cream or a trip to the park and ask for a hug in exchange. Now when Diane needed help getting in her house, Mickey would joke that he would help in exchange for a kiss, or he would help her at meals and ask for a hug or a kiss then. Now, Mickey would never not help his wife if she didn't give him a kiss, just like what Mary wouldn't have denied him a snack or a trip to the park as a kid if he didn't want a hug, but it's triggering for Mary because of her past. Mickey promised to stop making the kiss as payment joke and not stop affection with Diane. I feel bad because Mary said I assumed the worst of her. Maybe it was the natural conclusion that I shouldn't have accused her and just asked her what was going on. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for getting upset my wife opened her daughter's birthday gifts without me? I, 34 male, usually work from home and I work 1 day a week in the office. Our daughter's 4th birthday was the day that I had to go into the office. My daughter also goes to preschool and finishes in the early afternoon. The day before the birthday, we went to get our daughter's presents. Both my wife and I saw my daughter, and wanted a few toys, but we told her we couldn't get them and we were out for something else. It was an easy mass because the toy shop has other activities and they go there fairly regularly. Obviously, we got the toys, which I paid for, while my wife, 36 female, distracted our daughter with the activities. We normally open gifts in the evening and spend most of the day at Grandma's house. As we were going to, Mom, who normally buys her lots of very nice things, which would likely overshadow what we got, and as I wouldn't see her during the day, we decided to open one of the gifts in the morning. My daughter was very happy and excited. She wanted to open more, but we told her that we could open them later. I then said goodbye and went to work. I went straight to my mom's after work. When my wife arrived with her daughter, she said that she opened all the remaining gifts without me. I was shocked. I really wanted to see our daughter open the rest and see the excitement from her. Yes, she would get more from Grandma, but these were the ones that we got for her. It was only maybe another hour or two she would have had to wait. I asked my wife why she did that, and she said, "Our daughter asked to open them. That's it." She wasn't crying or anything, she just wanted to open them. Wife doesn't see this as a big deal. She said I didn't make it clear. I still got upset and I made it clear I was hurt by what had happened and that she couldn't wait for me. I would think it's obvious I would want to be there. Am I the a-hole for getting upset? NB, it may be important context or not. Wife is not from my culture and never really cared about birthdays. I generally don't about mine either. However, we've obviously had a few together with our daughter. Now for the advice. Scatterbox says, the most important in giving gifts is watching the recipient's excitement and joy as they open them. Have a calm discussion with your wife and explain this and any other feelings you have about this clearly. Then tell her if she wants to indulge daughter or anyone else on a timeline that doesn't include you, that she can buy a separate gift or two to be opened whenever she chooses to have it happen, but when you are also the giver. Gifts wait until everyone is there. This, my wife hates zoos. Hates them, hates them, hates them. I have zero problem with that, but I said I won't keep our son from zoos or aquariums because of their dislike, unless my kid also hates it. They were fine with that, so I made plans without my spouse, figuring they wouldn't want to go. It became a very big deal, and I was kind of surprised that my spouse did in fact want to go with her son to the zoo to see our son's excitement. Thankfully, plans fell through due to a heat wave, but I should have better communicated. Similar to inviting someone to a party even though you know they're busy. Well, in your situation, when you said, I won't keep kiddo from the zoo or aquarium unless kiddo doesn't want to, that was wide open doorway for spouse to say, I'd still like to be there for the first trip to see how kiddo likes it. And there was also that open doorway that you could have said, I'm going to take kiddo to the zoo this weekend when it came time to plan the outing. So it's an equal case of not communicating. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you.